Hey y'all, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm making a delicious creamy chicken stew with Cheddar Bay biscuits to go along with it. But before we get started, this video is part of a Crocktober collab hosted by Jenny from Jenny's Scratch Made Kitchen. I'll have Jenny's channel along with a playlist linked in my description box below. So as soon as you get done watching this video, head on over and check out all the others. And if you're coming over from the playlist, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. I would love it if you would hit that subscribe button and become part of my YouTube family. Now let's get into this creamy chicken stew. This recipe is so good, you just have to trust me. To begin, I added 1 tablespoon of oil and 2 tablespoons of melted butter to the bottom of my slow cooker. And for the veggies, I added in half a diced onion, and I tried to sprinkle that into an even layer. I also added in 1 cup of baby carrots that I cut into quarters. My family likes them cut smaller, that way they cook up more tender in the end. I washed and diced 3 large red potatoes and added those in, along with 1 cup of frozen green beans. Next, I added in 3 boneless skinless chicken breasts, and I did cut each of those in half because I'll be cooking this on low and I want that chicken to be cooked through. Now I'm making a delicious creamy sauce to pour over the top. For that, in a medium-sized bowl, I added in 1 can of cream of chicken soup, 1 cup of sour cream, and a cup of whole milk. And it's very important that you cook this low and slow. If you cook it on high, the milk and dairy will most likely curdle, and you don't want that. I also added seasonings to this mixture, and that was half a teaspoon of salt, 1/4 of a teaspoon of black pepper, 3 teaspoons of Italian seasoning, and also 1 packet of the ranch seasoning mix. Now give that a really good mix until everything is well combined. Now I'm heading back over to the crock pot and I'm going to pour that mixture evenly over the top. By the way, I'm just curious, do y'all call it a crock pot or a slow cooker? Okay, I just spread that out to make sure that chicken was completely covered. Then I put the lid on and set it to cook on low for 8 hours. It was getting close to done here, so I had to take a peek to see how it was looking. It don't look the best here, but just wait till the end. And I'm about to get started on some homemade Red Lobster Cheddar Bay biscuits. I did want to mention, Jenny will be doing a giveaway as part of this Crocktober collab. She's going to randomly choose a comment from one of these videos. The winner will be chosen on November 1st and receive a crock pot. So comment down below your favorite fall recipe or just say hey. These biscuits are so easy to make at home. I started out by melting 1 stick of butter, then I set that to the side to use later on. It just needs to cool down for a bit. In a large bowl, I added in 2 cups of all-purpose flour, a teaspoon of sugar, and don't worry, this doesn't make them sweet. I added in half a teaspoon of baking soda and 2 teaspoons of baking powder. And in case you're new here, I always like to sift my baking powder. That way I make sure I get rid of all those lumps. I'm adding in a few more seasonings. I added in 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of garlic powder, and 1/4 of a teaspoon of cayenne pepper. That just gives it flavor, it doesn't make it spicy. I gave that a quick stir, then I grabbed that melted butter that had been cooling for a bit. To that butter, I added 1 cup of cold buttermilk. Then whisk that until you notice small lumps start to form. Now take that mixture and pour it right on into your dry ingredients. You'll notice I started to mix this and then I stopped. That's because I forgot to add the cheese. I should have added it into the dry ingredients before I added the milk and butter mixture, but it still turned out. And that was 1 cup of sharp shredded cheddar cheese. Mix that until it's just combined and no dry spots remain. I grabbed my baking sheet and I'm using my large cookie scoop, so I end up with equal proportions, and you should end up with about 10 biscuits. These bake at 450 for about 12 minutes. And while those are in the oven, I'm going to finish off this stew. I stirred it around a little bit to try to knock some of that cream mixture off the chicken. Then I removed that chicken to a separate plate to shred. The chicken was so tender it was just falling apart, so I started to just try to shred it in the crock pot there, but then I decided to just remove it and shred it on the plate. Now I'm adding back in all of that chicken. This stew is seriously so easy to make. I gave that a stir, and all I've got left to do is get those biscuits out of the oven and top them with that delicious butter topping. And by the way, this stew recipe is hands down the best chicken stew I have ever had. The biscuits are about to come out of the oven, so I'm going to make up a quick butter topping. In a small bowl, I have 3 tablespoons of melted butter. I added 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder and 1/2 teaspoon of dry parsley. Give that a quick mix. The biscuits are done, and I'm just brushing that butter mixture over the top. You have to try this recipe, trust me. I'll have the recipe linked in my description box below. They are even better than the ones you get from Red Lobster. This meal was absolutely delicious. It has so much flavor, and it is definitely one of my family's favorites. I mean, look at that. Does that not look amazing? And it's also kid friendly. My daughter loves it too. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and you may also like these. Be sure to check out Jenny's channel and the playlist linked below for more crockpot recipes. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future videos, and I will see you in the next one.